Welcome to YouTube channel. Today class for BCom CA first year semester 1, subject Fundamentals of Information Technology. Topic is Generations of Computers and Classifications of Computers by G. Srinivas Reddy, lecturer in computers, Government Degree College Siddipet, Telangana. When the computer introduced initially by Charles Babbage, after that it is developed in different stages. So the computer basically divided into software and hardware part. So after electronic device invention, hardware and software both are developed in different ways. So the software part described in programming languages and software development part, and the hardware part, technology part development described through computer generations. In different ways, the computer development was made from initial to present. All these can be categorized into computer generations. Here, generation in computer terminology is a change in technology a computer is or was being used. Initially, the generation term was used to distinguish between varying hardware technologies. Generation term used for hardware technologies development purpose. But nowadays, generation includes both hardware and software, which together make up an entire computer system. There are totally 5 computer generations known till date. Each generation has been discussed in detail along with their time period. Characteristics: we have used approximate dates against each generation which are normally accepted. This is about the computer generations. Here a table is given about the 5 generations of computers which are hardware technology changes, which are explaining about hardware technology changes. Here the source is the information collected from webpodia.com. These 5 generations here: first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation and fifth generation. 5 generations are there. About first generation, the period is 1942 to 1954. All these periods are not accurate, approximate, which are given in this webopodia.com website. Here once again, the first generation computers period is 1942 to 1954. The technology used vacuum tubes. After that, the next generation is called second generation. Computers were developed. Those period is 1952 to 1964. Here the technology used transistors. The next one is third generation. The period is 1964 to 1972. Here the technology used integrated circuits. Then fourth generation, 1972 to 1990. Here the technology used VLSI microprocessor. And the fifth generation, that is 1919 onwards till today, VLSI based first generation microprocessors. These are the 5 types of technologies are used in different periods in different computer generations. All these computer generations explained one by one the following slides. Here the first generation computers. The period of first generation was 1942 to 1954. First generation of computers started with using vacuum tubes as the basic components for memory and circuitry for CPU. These tubes, like electric bulbs, produced a lot of heat and were prone to frequent fusing of all the installations. Therefore, were very expensive and could be afforded only by very large organizations. Here the CPU circuitry and memory part can be made with vacuum tubes. These vacuum tubes working reveal high heat. Moreover, these occupy more space. So, initial the first generation computer's size is very large and processing is very low. In this generation, mainly batch processing operating system were used. In this generation, punched cards, paper tape, magnetic tape, input and output devices were used. There were mission code and electric wire board languages used. This type of hardware and software and devices are used in first generation computers. Then the main features of first generations are vac- vacuum tube technology used, unreliable, supported machine language only, very costly, generate lot of heat, slow input or output device, huge size, need of AC, non-portable, consumed lot of electricity. These are the main features. Such first generation computers were ENIAC, electronic numerical integrator and calculator, EDVAC, electronic discrete variable automatic computer, UNIVAC, universal automatic computer. These are the first generation computers. Here the technology is vacuum tubes, and the main important thing, that is 1942 1954 is the period. And so two disadvantages, that is these computers cost is very high. All these computers must need a AC, and the processing part and the input output devices accessing is also slow for the first generation computers. To avoid such inconvenience, so to reduce disadvantages of the first generation computers, the next technology war developed, that is in second generation. The second generation period is 1952 to 1964. This generation using the transistors. First generations are vacuum tubes, those are replaced with transistors. Compared with the vacuum tubes, transistors were cheaper, consumed less power, more compact in size, more reliable, and faster than the first generation machines, which are made with vacuum tubes. Second generation computers are made with transistors. These are less expensive, consume less power, and produces less heat, faster than the first generation computers. In this generation, magnetic cores were used as primary memory, and magnetic tape and magnetic disks as secondary storage devices. Magnetic cores for primary memory purpose. Magnetic tape and magnetic disks are used for secondary storage devices. In this generation, assembly language and high-level language programming languages like Fortran, COBOL were used. There were batch processing and multi-programming operating system used. In the first generation part, machine language only. In the second generation part, assembly language and other programming languages are used. There only batch processing operating system used. Here batch processing and multi-programming operating system used. This is about the second generation. And the features. Main features of the second generation are use of transistors. Their technology is vacuum tubes. Here the technology is transistors. Reliable as compared to first generation computers. Smaller size compared to first generation computers. generate less heat compared to first generation, consumed less electricity as compared to first generation computers, still very costly. These are also needed AC. These supports mission and assembly languages. Vacuum tubes, the first generation computers accepts only mission language, but the second generation computers accepts mission and assembly languages. Some of these computers, generation computers are IBM 1620, IBM 7094, CDC 1604, CDC 3600, Univac 1108. The first two generation computers are also having Univac. Here the number is added, that is 1108 Univac. These are the features of second generation computers to reduce disadvantages and improve the computer's performance. The other technology developed, such technology used in third generation. After the second, the third generation come out. The period of third generation was 1964 to 1972. The third generation computers is marked by the use of integrated circuits in place of transistors which are used in second generation. Here the integrated circuits, a single integrated circuit has many transistors, resistors and capacitors along with the associated circuit. In third generation computers, the technology using integrated circuits, here a single integrated circuit having many transistors, resistors, capacitors. All these must be associated with a circuitry. The integrated circuit was invented by Jack Kilby. This development made computers smaller in size, reliable, and smaller in size, computers smaller in size, reliable and efficient. In this generation, remote processing, time sharing, real time, multi programming operating systems were used. High level languages Fortran 224, COBOL, Pascal, PL1, BASIC, ALGOL 68. All these are high level languages were used during third generation. మీ బాలింగంకు ఫోన్ చేస్తాడు నీ ఫోన్ నుంచి. This is about the third generation. Third generation main features are, here the technology ICs used, integrated circuits are used. These are more reliable, smaller size, generate less heat. These are faster, lesser maintenance. Maintenance cost is very low, but these are also some costly. These are also needed AC. These consumed less electricity than previous generation computers. These main advantage is supporting high level languages. Comparatively, in the present generation computers, these are also will be treated as a high cost computer. The efficiency is low compared with the present technology. Then to overcome the limitations with the third generation computers, the next generation, that is fourth generation computers, were developed. In this fourth generation computers, the technology used as VLSI, very large scale integrated chips. The period of fourth generation was 1972 to 1990. The fourth generation of computers is marked by the use of VLSI, very large scale integrated circuits. VLSI circuits having about 5000 transistors and other circuit elements and their associated circuits on a single chip made it possible to have microcomputers of fourth generation. Fourth generation computers become more powerful, compact, reliable, and affordable. As a result, it give rise to it give rise to personal computer revolution. In this generation, time sharing, real time networks, distributed operating systems were used. All the higher level languages like C, C++, DBase were used in generation. Mostly user friendly computers and present PCs are available with help of the fourth generation computers, especially of the technology VLSI technology, that is very large scale integrated chip. That means a small circuit may having 5000 transistors and other circuitry elements associated in a single chip with this advanced technology. The main features of fourth generation are VLSI technology used here. These are very cheap. These are portable and reliable and used in PCs. Here the PC means personal computers like desktop computers and other laptops, etc. These are very small in size and the processing is pipeline processing. Here the no ACs are needed. Concept of internet was introduced with fourth generation computers. Great developments in the fields of networks and computers become easily available. Some computers of this generation were DEC 10, Star 1000, PDP 11. These are the fourth generation computers using VLSI technology. After the fourth generation only, the mobile networks and computer networks and other internet technology were popular. Today's most of the communications are associated completely with the computers only. Those computers are developed from the fourth generation onwards only. This is about the fourth generation computers. Here also some advanced technology are essential day to day life. Day to day technology is changing, so the next generation computers were developed, such are fifth generation computers. Here also VLSI technology became as ULSI technology. VLSI means very large scale integrated technology. ULSI means ultra large scale integration. VLSI is a very large scale in technology, very large scale integrated. ULSI is the ultra large scale integrated technology, resulting in the production of microprocessor chips having 10 million electronic computers. This generation is based on parallel processing hardware and artificial intelligence software. AI is an emerging branch in computer science which interprets means and method of making computers think like human beings. All the high level languages like C and C++, Java, .NET, etc. are used in this generation. Especially in artificial intelligence includes robotics, neural networks, game playing, development of expert system to make decisions in real life situations, natural language understanding and generation. These all four components are included in fifth generation. robots, most robotic technology today are using like human beings. Some of the humanoid robo thinking, understanding like human being. So it's not it perfect, but it is in development stage. That is with the help of the artificial intelligence. Moreover, most of the high-level languages are using in fifth generation computers. Here the main features of fifth generation are ULSI technology, development of true artificial intelligence, development of natural language processing, advancement in parallel processing, advancement in semiconductor technology, more user-friendly interfaces with multimedia features, availability of very powerful and compact computers, cheaper rates. Some computers types of this generation are desktops, laptop, notebook, ultrabook. Today with little knowledge, every person is operating computer, operating mobile. The mobile is also a product of the fifth generation computers only. With the mobile, different types of jobs are doing. The mobile is not using for not only for communication purpose, it is also sharing the information. It is also creating videos, audios, images, photos in different ways the mobile is using. Such facility can be made with the technology of fifth generation. It is associated with artificial intelligence. So the technology developing. The present technology developing. Both are consideration as a part of the fifth generation computer technology only. Moreover, this is a classification of the technology development, especially in hardware part. Then computers are classifying into different categories based on computer size, based on computer's function. Here, two types of classification can be described here. This is the classification of computers. Classification of computers can be categorized into various types based on size, purpose, and functions. Here, the classification of computers based on its size. That is, four types are given here: microcomputers, mini computers, mainframe computers, supercomputers. Microcomputers, mini computers, mainframe computers, and supercomputers. We'll discuss one by one about the microcomputers. These became the most common type of computer in the late 20th century. The term microcomputer was introduced with the advent of system based on a single chip microprocessors. Here microcomputers considered as a system based and on a single chip microprocessor. The best known early system was the Altair 8000 introduced in 1975. The term microcomputer has practically become an anachronism. These computers include desktop computers, tablets, laptops, etc. Microcomputers are today's PCs will be today's PCs are example for microcomputers. This is about the microcomputers. Then come to mini computers. These are also called as mid-range computers. Mini computers, colloquially minis, are a class of multi-user computers that lie in the middle range of the computing spectrum in between the smallest mainframe computers and the largest single-user systems. So that is mini computers or mid-range computers are between the microcomputers and the mainframes. So size, accessing, storage capacity between these two, not too small, not too big. The term supercomputer or super mini was used to distinguish more powerful mini computers that approach to mainframe in capability. Super minis such as the DECVOX or Data General Eclipse MV8000 were usually 32-bit at a time, when most mini computers such as the PDP-11 Data General Edips IBM series were 16-bit. These are the two types of 32-bit and 16-bit. The contemporary term for mini computers is mid-range computers, such as the higher-end Spark Power and Itanium-based systems from Oracle Corporation, IBM, and Hewlett Packard, and the size is now typically smaller, such as a TowerQuest. This is about the mini computers or mid-range computers. Simply we have to say this is not too small, not too big. It is the higher range of PCs, lower range of mainframes. Then come to mainframe computers. The term mainframe computer was created to distinguish the traditional large institutional computer intended to service multiple users from the smaller single user machines. These computers are capable of handling and processing very large amounts of data quickly. So that means mainframe computers having storage capacity of large amounts of data, and the processing can be fast. That nothing but data can be transferred quickly. Mainframe computers are used in large institutions such as government, banks, and large corporations. They are measured in MIPS, million instructions per second, and can respond to hundreds of millions of users at a time. Generally, the mainframe computers are using in servers. Server means it is established at one place and connected with more other computers through a network. The data, generally, if it is client server technology, other computers will be treated as clients. Such clients can be request data from the server. The server need to respond as per the request of the client. For such type of technology purpose, the mainframe computers are used. So that means these are having large storage capacity and high processing speed. Then come to supercomputers. These are the highest processing speed, highest storage capacity. Generally in research areas, in satellites, etc., the supercomputers are using. A supercomputer is focused on performing tasks involving intense numerical calculations such as weather forecasting, fluid dynamics, nuclear simulations, theoretical astrophysics, and complex scientific computations. A supercomputer is a computer that is at the front line of current processing capacity, particularly speed of calculation. The term supercomputer itself rather fluid, and the speed of today's supercomputer tends to become typical of tomorrow's ordinary computer. Supercomputer processing speeds are measured in floating point operations per second, flops. FLOPS, floating point operations per second. These are, that means in a 1 second the supercomputers executes lot of instructions than other computers. An example of floating point operation is the calculation of mathematical equations in real numbers in terms of computational capacity, memory size, and speed. I/O technology. Topological issues such as bandwidth and latency. Supercomputers supercomputers are the most powerful, are very expensive and not cost effective just to perform batch or transaction processing. These are the powerful computers in all categories. That means supercomputers are powerful. Supercomputers are powerful than other different sizes of computers. Then the classification based on their size and processing is over. Then now classification based on its functions. Computers classification based on its functions. That is servers, terminal servers, virtual machines, workstations, information appliances, embedded computers. These are the classified computers on their functions. Servers. Servers usually refers to a computer that is dedicated to providing one or more services. For example, a computer dedicated to database may be called as a database server. A server dedicated to for a particular organization, that is called for the server for a particular organization. That means it stores the related data and permit to access such data by the concerned connected users or clients. Then terminal servers. These provide GUI, graphical user interface sessions, that can be used by client PC that works some way like a remote control only the screen, and output is shown on the client. The GUI applications run on the server. Data would be stored in the same LAN, thus avoiding problem should a client PC be damaged or stolen. Once again, terminal servers are nothing but a server which provide graphical user interface sessions like client PC. The information can be retrieved from the server and it is available to the user until the session should be completed. It can be accessed through a local area network. Such type of computers are called terminal servers. Then come to virtual machines. A server may run several virtual machines, simply we call as VMS, for different activities, supplying the same environment to each VM as if it ran on dedicated hardware. Different operating systems can therefore be run at the same time. This technology approach needs special hardware support to be useful and was first domain of mainframe and other large computers. Nowadays, most personal computers equipped with for this task, but for long-term operation or critical system specialized, severe hardware may be needed. Another approach is to important virtual machines on the operating system level, so all VMs run on the same OS instance but are fundamentally separated to not to interfere with each other. Virtual machines also a type of computers only. These run on A server may run on several virtual machines. So that means by connecting through a network, different computers are working from different places. All are nothing but a missions. All are having information from the server. Such type of missions are called virtual missions. Then come to workstations. Workstations are computers that are intended to serve one user and may contain special hardware enhancement not found on personal computer. By the mid 1990s, personal computers reached the processing capabilities of many computers and workstations. Generally, in 1990s period, personal computers will be having capability of many computers and workstations. Also, with the release of multitasking systems such as OS/2, Windows NT and Linux, the operating system of personal computers could do job of this class of machines. Today, the term used to describe desktop PCs with high performance hardware. Such hardware is usually aimed at a professional rather than enthusiast market. Dual processors, motherboards, error coding, memory, professional graphics cards. For these purposes, the computers are using in a network. Such computers are called workstations. So generally, these are for sharing information and distributing the work through a network. Such workstations are using. Then next one is information appliances. Information appliances are computers especially designed to perform a specific user-friendly function such as playing music, photography, editing, text. Some other computers specially designed for a specific purpose like photography purpose or music purpose or video purpose. Such computers will be treated as information appliances. The term is most commonly applied to mobile devices, though they are also portable and desktop devices of this class. Here the information appliances, the best example is mobile devices and desktop and laptops and tablet PCs are information appliances. This is about the classification based on the function. And the final one in this category, embedded computers. Especially these are using automobile industry. Here the computers part of machine or device. Embedded computers generally execute a program that is stored in a non-volatile memory and is only intended to operate a specific machine or device. To work a proper device, to work a proper mission for the specific purpose, a integrated circuit embedded with a special program that can be activated to do job by the concerned device. Here the example, washing machines and the cars having some integrated circuits to perform a specific job which are embedded on its circuitry. Embedded computers are very common. The majority are embedded computers are microcontrollers. Embedded computers are typically required to operate continuously without being reset or rebooted. And once employed in their task, software usually cannot be modified. Here these microcontrollers having, once the program is written, you are unable to modify, unable to change. According to the program which is written on microcontroller, the concerned device can work. An automobile may contain a number of embedded computers. However, a washing machine or DVD player would contain only one microcontroller. Embedded computers are chosen to meet the requirements of the specific application, and most are slower and cheaper than CPUs found in personal computer. This is about this class. Here the two parts. One is development of the hardware technology and second one is classification of computers. The classification based on size, based on usage. These are discussed in this class, especially the class for BCom first year semester 1. The subject is fundamentals of information technology. Thank you, one and all.